Yeah, there. I mean, we might have seen these cases in our life, wherein when you have to build a new system and there is an existing system in an organization, there is always this resistance from the users. So this is a clear case of stakeholders having a negative influence. They are not prepared to use the system, or they normally compare the new system with the old system, and they ask you for certain features which are present in the old system. So they have initially, probably they start off with a negative interest, and some of them might continue with it, but some of them might become more interested in the project as you factor in their interest. So it's the role of the project manager, responsibility of the project manager, to factor in all this negative interest and convert them probably into positive interest as much as possible. So stakeholders are of different types, wherein they might be negative or positive stakeholders. So triple constraints, this is a common terminology that's normally used in the PMBOK. And triple constraints or scope, time and cost. These are the most important factors that you have to take care when you are doing project management. Basically, because time is concerned with most of the time the customer wants most of the things as soon as possible, call it yesterday. And costing is about he wants everything within budget, and he wants all of the requirements, which is what scope covers. So understandably, these three things, the triple constraints, are the most important things where you have to deal with when you are doing project management. Project management plan is the collective output of planning process group. These points that I have here, these are all some of the most important points probably you would have to have in mind. I have summarized whatever is there in the PMBOK and put them in the form of points out here. So project management plan is the collective output of planning process group. So we will understand this better in the planning phase or planning process group when we deal with develop project management plan. But this is a straightforward statement where you can easily make out that project management plan is the collective output of planning process group. There are other plans, but then they all get into the project management plan. We will get into detail as we go into each of the plans. Also, while we develop the project management plan, we can really understand why this is stated this way. The PM plan stands for project management plan. The PM plan gets progressively elaborated as more insight is got about the project requirements. Project scope must be planned before being executed. So the process for defining scope is iterative in nature. First you plan, then you execute. So this is this is not anything new for us. Most of the people who have done project management in the current context see a iterative nature of development. Iterative nature in the sense that you develop in steps, and there is an increment. Like for example, you take set of requirements, you plan for it, you execute it, you then test it, and then implement it, then take the next set of requirements, and you go about the same process. So this is an iterative process where you build everything in steps and in increments. So this is called iterative method of development. And then project management plan is also, when you develop a project management plan, you don't go and build the whole plan and start doing the execution, because there's a lot of time that is spent in doing that, and you can't wait without producing any results for the customer. So that's where progressive elaboration comes into picture. Progressive elaboration is more in lines with you when you start off, you get a one-liner in the form of the project charter having a high-level requirement, but then when you sit with the customer after you have identified the stakeholders and you sit with them, you get their idea. I mean, there are different stakeholders whose requirements you get it, and you get more details about the high-level requirements, which now becomes a detailed requirement. So you plan for this. So your PM plan or the project management plan gets progressively elaborated or progressively detailed. It becomes detailed as time passes. So by the end of your planning phase, you have more details compared to where you started initially. So that's where progressive elaboration comes into picture. Iteration is more